Hey everybody, so today's video I'm going to be talking about brightening up light blonde hair. So this video is if you already have light blonde hair and you just kind of want to brighten it up if it's just looking dull. So I have seen this method on hair blogs and hair forums that I am a part of as being a hairstylist, and people have been talking about this method for a few months now, and at first I was sort of skeptical just because high lifts are meant for virgin hair. You're actually not supposed to put them on colored or bleached hair. So yes, I was very skeptical to try this, but I did want to try it just because it is something that most blondes look for eventually, just to brighten up their blonde hair, especially now that spring and summer are right around the corner. Sylvia from Elle Bangs also just did a video on this, so I thought why not give it a try and film it just in case it does turn out, which it did. So I'm going to be including a demo in this because I think that sometimes demos are important, just so you know that yes, I actually did try this out and you can see the before and after when I do a demo. So that is why I like to do demos for my video. So I will be including that somewhere in this video, probably in the middle somewhere after I explain just a little bit further on this method. So here's the color I used here. It is by Chi. It is a part of their Ionic Permanent Shine hair color line. I used the Ultralight Ash Blonde, so it's just UL/12A. So there are plenty of high lifts other than this one. You can go to Sally's and even get them just from different brands. This is what I already had, so this is what I used. Now I will say I wish I had a natural high lift and not an ash, just because the ash really deposited it in some spots where I did not want it to, because I wanted a bright blonde. I did not want it dulled down. So I ended up having to wash my hair 2 times with my daily shampoo and then 1 time with my Redken cleansing cream. And down here it was already really light blonde, like underneath this area, and it really picked up the ash and was not budging. So I actually had to do just a really light bleach wash, just using a 20 volume with shampoo, and it was literally only on my hair for about 3 seconds, and then I shampooed and conditioned it right out. And the only reason I had to do a bleach wash, which I did not want to have to do, but it was not budging using the clarifying shampoo by Redken. So I just decided just to do a really quick one. Like I said, it wasn't on my hair for very long, like at all. It was definitely not even 30 seconds. It was probably like 3 seconds by the time I got it applied and then left it on and noticed that the gray was gone. So this blends much, much better now that I did this. This under here was super ashy, which I was trying to stay away from. So like I said, high lift color is typically meant for virgin hair, not on bleached or colored hair. Because you do use 1 part color to 2 parts developer, it's going to have a little bit stronger of a lift than the typical color would. Now you can get lift out of using this over color or bleached hair, because if you have heard a lot of people say color does not lift color, which is correct. Color does not lift color just because you are sort of piling on 2 different colors. It's not meant to lift, but since this is double the developer, it just has enough to lift it a shade or 2. It's not going to take you from black box dye to blonde, but it will lift a little bit just depending on your hair, the porosity, and everything like that. Now this color that I used, it said to only use double 40, not to use anything else, but I did not want to put double 40 on my ends. There is no purpose for that, not in this case anyway. My hair was already probably a level 9 blonde with some 10 and maybe some 8 lowlights, but it was around a level like 10 to 8. So very light blonde already. So if I were to put 40 volume on that, it would damage my hair even further and would probably deposit even more ash, which I was not wanting, like I said. The closest place for me to get my professional products is an hour away, so this is what I had, so this is what I used, like I said. So I only used a 20 volume, still double 20, and that was enough for me. I would not recommend using 30 or 40 when you already have light hair. It is just no purpose in doing that. So like I said, my color is 40 volume, double 40 only is what they recommend, but that is on virgin hair, especially if you are doing like at your roots, like a root touch-up instead of doing like an all-over on the scalp bleaching, which I am trying to stay away from. That is why I did almost like a root smudge just to add depth to my hair, but I was sort of getting over how dark it was, so this did lift it a few shades. I don't know if you can tell, but it did lift it probably 2 levels, and it is not super ashy, but it is definitely not bright. It did not give me hot roots or anything like that. I am very pleased with how it lightened my root color also. And then I would say that I am probably a level 10 through my ends now. And it is a brighter blonde that I was wanting. Before I forget, I have actually done this method on a friend. It was about, I would say, a month and a half, 2 months ago. It was my friend that was in the Olaplex vlog that I did. She works with me as a hairdresser and nail tech. So I actually used this method on her, and she's already very light blonde. She's probably a level 8 naturally, and we did do it on her, and we did it on her roots and her ends, and it also lifted her ends. So I was not as skeptical. On her, I used the Paul Mitchell High Lift Ash, and she had a lot more gold than me, so it did lift her to a really nice silvery white, and then after a few washes, it was just a light blonde, kind of like mine, just a nice and bright light blonde. So yes, I have done this method before, but I wanted to try it myself before I did it on anybody in the salon that comes in as a client who just wants a brightening instead of just using highlights and bleach highlights to try to lighten up any further. I like this method. It can be damaging just if you are using like a higher volume, but with 20 volume, and I did not leave it on for very long, maybe about 10 minutes was all I put it on for, it was not damaging at all. If anything, it made my hair a lot more shiny than before because I felt like my hair was really dulled out from just using purple shampoos, which I still am going to use, but I just feel like with the lowlights and coloring that I had done, it was just looking very dull, and for the spring and summer, I do like a brighter blonde. So I'm going to be jumping into the demo here in just a second, but like I said, you use 1 part color to 2 parts the 20 volume developer. You can leave it on anywhere from a few minutes to 15 minutes. I really want to go beyond that just because you might pull out some warmth in your virgin hair if you do that. If you want to leave it on your roots longer, what you can do is put it on with a 40 volume double 40 so your roots lighten, and then maybe the last few minutes mix up another batch with the 20 volume for your ends, and that would probably work as well also. But since you're only using 20 volume, and if you have natural virgin hair on your roots, you don't want to be pulling an orange or red tone out, which is what color does. It goes through the stages. So depending on your natural level, you might be pulling some warmth, so you don't want to leave it on your roots for too long, only using the 20 volume. Now that I've gone over what it does, I can show you guys the demo. In the demo, you're just going to see me put it on my roots all over first, and then I went through and put it on my ends. Like I said, I only left it on for about 10 minutes after everything was all done, and then shampooed. I ended up shampooing 3 times, like I said, and then you want to condition, and then you are all set to go. Like I said also a few times, I use the ash. I would recommend maybe trying just the natural or a neutral high lift, but this is all I had, so this is what I used. If I do the high lift and natural on my roots or anything like that, maybe I'll make a video on that, but this worked pretty well for me other than under here where I had to sort of correct it. But let's just jump right into the demo, and I'm gonna stop babbling. In the demo, I just applied it to my roots and then my ends, and I just wanted to show you guys the technique I use just because you do want to make sure that all of your hair is fully covered. And another thing is I didn't have much virgin hair on my roots. Some of that was artificial, or most of that, I guess I should say, was artificial color, but it still lifted it, like I said before, and I am very pleased with the outcome of what it did. I think my blonde is a lot brighter. So in conclusion, I think this method does work. Like I said, if you use an ash color and you are already quite light in some spots, it will more than likely turn your hair ashy. It should wash out after a few washes, but for me, I was just a little impatient and I didn't want ashy hair because I actually filmed the demo yesterday, and then today I only wash my hair every other day, so I knew I was not washing my hair today, and I have to go to work, and I did not want my hair to not be like a uniform blonde. If I was doing this over the weekend and did not have to worry about going anywhere, I would have just left it, but I did not want ashy ends just under here. I wanted it to look nice and bright, which was what I was going for. So other than that, I think it worked really, really well, and I would recommend giving this a try. Like I said, I got mine from Cosmoprof, which is a professional salon warehouse for cosmetologists. If you don't have your license, you can also go to Sally's, like I said, and they have a few different lines to choose from. I haven't used any of them, so I can't recommend a specific brand, but I think any high lift would more than likely work. I would recommend using the natural over the ash, but depending on what your hair is and how much brassiness and yellow is in your hair, the ash actually might be a better option. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask down below. I am always happy to answer everybody's questions and comments and concerns, just because I know that not everybody can afford to go to a salon, and I like to help out as many people as possible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have not subscribed, I would really appreciate if you would. If you have any video requests, go ahead and leave those down below, and I'd be happy to do those. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.